And, I look out at you, sitting there quietly, behaving yourselves, nice and quiet. But you know what? I know what you've all been up to. You've been creating havoc, banging down the doors of your MLA's offices, writing letters, signing petitions, attending rallies, standing out in the cold making noise, attending meetings, speaking up, and generally putting your APE pride into action. Yes, you have. I've watched you. I've heard about you guys. And for what, though? Well, I'll tell you what for. To force a government to back down from its damaging pension changes. To win the fight for free collective bargaining rights. To stop the privatization of land title services. To save Michener Center. And to bring down a discredited bully of a premier. That's what you've been up to. Boy, have you guys been busy in the last year. And you know what? As your president, I couldn't be more proud of you, your fellow sisters and brothers, the leaders in this hall and across the province, because this year, more than any other, you stood up, worked hard, showed your union pride, and you know what, sisters and brothers? You made history the past year. And who would have thought? Who would have thought when we left convention last year, armed with a plan to vigorously defend our pension plans, that we would also end up being in the fight of our lives for our basic bargaining rights? Who would have thought that only a year ago we would be where we are now? A respected, recognized force to be reckoned with that shows it has the power to stop a government in its tracks and put all employers on notice that we are proud, we are loud, and we are stronger than ever. And you know what? That's down to you guys, but I have to say that none of this could have been achieved without the hard work of your executive team up here. With the passion and commitment on the highways and the byways across this great province, in communities large and small, your executive has connected, engaged members. They have educated, agitated, and organized. This team, and I've been on many executives throughout my years of involvement, this team is the most solid, passionate, committed team of executive members I have ever had the pleasure to work with, and it's an honor to work with them every single day. I also want to thank their families who make the sacrifices so that we can all do the work for you that needs to be done. On a personal note, I want to recognize my partner, Sherry. Excuse me, I always do this, don't I? Our two daughters, for their support and encouragement while I'm away for days at a time or working late into the evening at home. I couldn't do it without their support, and I thank them for that. Now, I know Sherry is in the hall, but she gave me explicit instructions not to point her out. So many of you know her. She's been around a long time. She's a great trade union activist herself. And again, my thanks to her. I want to also recognize your provincial executive, the governing body of this union between conventions, who have made the crucial leadership decisions when they needed to. They deserve your thanks and gratitude for leading the union through our darkest days in the past year. I'd like the provincial executive members to stand up. There's one from each local, and I'd like them to stand up, be recognized, please. Sisters and brothers, as much as we're a team of elected officers, and we have officers like the provincial executive members throughout this land, we couldn't have achieved all that we did without our staff and management team at AUP. From our negotiations department, our organizing, communications, research, education, disputes and arbitrations, and of course our membership services officers, and of course our support staff, everybody put the efforts to defeat the challenges we were confronted with. I tell you folks, we have the best staff of any union in this country working for you every single day. But most of all, sisters and brothers, I want to thank you for the tireless work you do on behalf of AUPE in your work sites and communities. That is what's seen us through this last year, and that's where we are now, stronger and more determined than ever. So, do we take a breather? Do we rest? Do we take time to enjoy the fruits of our labor? No way. We have many more challenges to address and to prepare for. Regardless of our significant victories, we are still faced with many struggles, such as you heard this morning, the lockout at SAIL in Edmonton, the constant threat of privatization and contracting out, the increased workload and short staffing on the front lines as demand for services increases each year, and of course, employers, both large and small, who refuse still to negotiate fairly, such as we're seeing currently with Alberta Health Services, our education sector, and of course the private long-term care sector. Also, the ongoing efforts to overcome these challenges and our focus on engaging our members at the work sites and in their communities means that there is never any time to rest. And I apologize for that, because I know we all need one, but we keep pushing forward. That's what makes this union great and strong and the leading union in the province, because we never stop working hard on behalf of our members and the people in this great province. And you know what, sisters and brothers? We must constantly be preparing for change in a way that reflects the modern, progressive, powerful organization that we are. Now you'll notice that preparing for change is the theme of this convention, and it should be our mantra as we move into the next period of our work. And let's be clear, when this theme was developed, excuse me, along with an action plan to educate and engage our members on the political front, at that time, we were at the height of our war with the government. At that time, pensions were still very much under attack. The government was still determined to legislate wage freezes and rollbacks and to take away the bargaining rights that have been enshrined in law for over 40 years. Michener Center was still on the chopping block, and the employers in every sector were watching carefully and taking the government's lead. That's why such a strong message to the government was needed. And the message was, if you take on AUPE, you will pay the political price. And I can tell you, sisters and brothers, that that message was received loud and clear by the government. And to a large degree, that government, and certainly former Premier Redford, have paid that political price. And you know what? We must never, ever let them forget that. Never. But we also need to use this to our advantage, to rebuild an important relationship with government from a position of strength. Even though the trust between us is still tenuous, we have now proven what we're capable of, and the government's tone and actions recently recognize that. And although much work has been done to reverse the damage created in the past, there are still many outstanding issues that have built up over the last year and a half that need to be resolved. In the meantime, as a union, we will take advantage of the current period of relative calm and backtracking by the government. For example, your provincial executive is making crucial strategic plans to keep moving our union forward based on sound governance. We need to take this opportunity to drill down to the work sites and make sure the members, every single member of this union, knows that we are there for them. And by reaching out to our members in new and innovative ways. We need to improve services to members and increase resources in our staff to support you as leaders and activists as we continue to grow and diversify as a union. I'm pleased to say that this is an approach wholeheartedly endorsed by our new Executive Director, Carl Soderstrom, who replaced Ron Hodgins in September. And Carl's in the hall. I want him to be recognized. If you could stand up. Carl Soderstrom, our new Executive Director. I can't see that far. I'm presuming you're there somewhere. But I have to say something. Carl took on this role, I don't know, about a month ago, a little over a month ago, and has done absolutely superb work already in a very, very tough job. And I'm really grateful to him for all the work he stepped up to do. But he replaced Ron Hodgins, and I would like to say a few words about Ron, although he's not here, unfortunately. It needs to be recognized, I think, that Ron Hodgins, and many of you know him in this room, was an integral part of AUP's massive growth over the past 15 years. Without Ron's work, we wouldn't be the union we are today. And for that, we all owe him our gratitude, and we wish him well and all the best in the future. And what of AUP's future? Well, that responsibility lies with us all. Your executive committee leadership team, your provincial executive, our staff, and you as activists and leaders in your locals, work sites, and communities. We do things the Alberta way, working hard, talking straight, and keeping your promises. Wouldn't it be nice if governments and employers also did things the Alberta way? But they don't. That's why we have to be vigilant. That's why we have to continue, based on those principles, defending our members' rights across this province and standing up for the people of this province to get the kind of quality services that we deliver and the kind of quality services they deserve. And we intend to take this message and our issues into communities across the province, onto the doorsteps, into the town halls, and into the debate about the future of our province and the people who call it home. So, sisters and brothers, while we have made history, we also need to build a future we can all be proud of. I've been involved with AUP for 25 years, as an activist, a local leader, vice president, and as your president for the past 5 years. I've always been proud and honored to serve our union, but never so proud as I have been over the past year. You guys stepped up to the plate, and you made a real difference, not just for AUPE, but for all Albertans. Never forget that. Learn from it, embrace it, and steady your resolve to continue that great work. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for caring about your union. Thank you for all your hard work as we prepare for change together. Solidarity forever. Thank you.